This morning, the ministerial sector meeting was officially opened by the Vice President of Uganda, Her Excellency Alupo, and thereafter the chairmanship was passed over from to Uganda, and Minister J.J. Odong, the Minister for Affairs of Uganda, is at the moment chairing the various sessions. Statements are being made by different countries. We have a full house of Ministers of Foreign Affairs from the different members of NAM who are in the house, and they'll be giving their interventions and statements throughout the day and into tomorrow. And we hope that tomorrow we'll be able to come out with, they will be able to pass the Kampala declarations and the outcome documents of the ministers, which will then lead into the official summit of head of states, which will start on the 19th. As of now, everything is going smoothly. We hope that the rest of the day and tomorrow things will remain the same, but if there's any changes or fundamental changes, we'll be able to pass it on to you. Anything. Our intention is not to influence any outcome. Our intention is to reach consensus. We want to reach a position where all parties to the meeting finally reach a consensus on the outcome of this conference, so that it is amicable and finally it's something that everybody will take home and know that there was no manipulation or there was no influence from any particular country. It's not in our interest to influence the meeting. We're giving every country an opportunity to make their views, and thereafter we'll have discussions and see how to reach a consensus on the controversial and the hot topics. The issue of Israel and Palestine is not on top of the agenda. It is the hottest debate by the senior officials that took place during the senior officials meeting. And if you follow the trend, ongoing trend of speeches by the ministers now, it is something which is at top of their discussions. Every member who have contributed this morning have raised their views on the issue of the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine and the situation in Gaza. And I think many countries will make their views on that. As I said, by tomorrow, when the discussions are in place, then we'll be able to tell you exactly where that particular contentious issue has reached. That will be addressed at the IGAD summit, which will take place on the 18th. That's tomorrow, 18th. When the members of IGAD come for the special IGAD and for the emergency IGAD summit that will be held in State House tomorrow. Thereafter, there will be discussions on the ongoing issues between Ethiopia and Somalia, and also there will be discussions on the issue of Sudan. I do not know why people keep bringing the matter of Burundi and Rwanda to this matter, or the issue of Uganda and Kenya, because those are not conflicts. Not that those are not armed conflicts. Those are trade conflicts. So let us separate trade conflicts from unarmed conflicts. Trade conflicts will be resolved bilaterally and not with regional organizations. They've been, if you have been following the statements being made by all the other ministers and senior officials, and what we have always been discussing as Africa has always demanded, and we continue to demand, and we continue to insist that Africa has been shortchanged. Africa, historically, there's been a historical injustice for Africa for not being a member of the UN Security Council. 75% of the discussions that take place in the Security Council is about Africa. But Africa is not available as a permanent representative in the United Nations, and decisions are taken on Africa where they are not given an opportunity to express themselves. Therefore, under something we call the group of countries, C10, who were formed under the auspices of the AU, to advocate and front the debate towards the reform of the UN, we have something called the Uzulini Consensus. Under the Uzulini Consensus, Africa is demanding for 2 seats, 2 permanent seats in the Security Council with veto rights. That's our position. We don't want nothing more, we don't want nothing less. What Africa wants is 2 permanent seats in the UN and with veto rights. And this has been expressed by the various ministers there. But Africa has also gone a long way in generosity. You know, Africans are very generous. The breed of Africans are very generous. Even if they're beaten up, even if they're punished, even if they're enslaved, they always forgive and say, let's forgive and forget, and let's move on. On top of that, we're saying that when Africa has permanent seats in the UN, why don't also South America have seats in the United Nations Security Council? To be fair, South America is not on the Security Council as well. Asia also is not in the Security Council. So we're saying that why is it that only a few members, a club of a few countries are in the Security Council, when all members of the countries, at least each continent, should have representation in the UN Security Council. Discussions on the issue of terrorism within the NAM countries, condemning terrorism, discouraging members of the NAM from supporting or encouraging terrorism or sponsoring terrorism amongst themselves, and making terrorism a priority in the issue of peace and security amongst the NAM countries. In the absence of peace and security and conflicts in these NAM countries, then that's what the NAM countries are fighting for or working for. All these things that are discussing here will be of no purpose. Nobody's going to invest. No tourists will come to your country. Will be diverted. Our attention will be diverted in dealing with the issue of terrorism and all the other matters about the reform of the financial system, the access to market, and all that will be of no purpose if members of NAM engage themselves or involve themselves in NAM and does not fight NAM terrorism. Therefore, terrorism is as important a discussion in NAM as other topics, because it's very diversionary, time-wasting, and very damaging to the economies. The question was about, if you follow that matter closely, the question was about the language. Do we open up the language that was used under the old leadership when it comes to the issue of Gaza and Palestine, or do we maintain the language? I think it was agreed that in order for us to proceed without opening up the whole Pandora's box, it was agreed that we should maintain the language that was presented through what were previous the previous language that was presented should be the one to be used. If we had the Pandora's box been open and we allowed introduction of new languages, I'm sure the senior ministers meeting would not senior officials meeting would not have taken place, or finished rather.